what's up, guys, and welcome to yet another edition of Real Talk TV. Of course, I'm your host, the Black Hawaiian, and as always, guys, we got great guests that come out and want to sit down and talk story with us, and this guy is one of my favorite local MMA fighters from back in the days. And I mean, you know, I can drop names about guys that you guys know from way back when, but let me tell you guys, this guy right here, I'm super proud and excited to have him. Please help me welcome Ron the Machine Gun Jhun. How's it going, my man?
What's up, Lionel? Thanks for having me.
All right, thank you so much for coming out. So, you know, I don't know if you've seen how this works. You know, I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and you know, we're just going to go through and get to know more about who you are. Okay. So, you know, with the first question being, what is your full name?
It's Ronald Andrew Ponky Jhun Jr.
All right.
A.K.A. Machine Gun.
A.K.A. Machine Gun. So with that being said, so Jhun, that's you're Korean.
Yes.
All right. So besides being Korean, what else? What other nationalities are you?
Hawaiian, Chinese, Portuguese, Puerto Rican. I would say Spanish. Mixed plate, man. Pretty much every nationality.
And you know, this is funny because this is Hawaiian style right here, right? When you meet somebody from Hawaii, it's like, oh, they get at least 13, 14 nationalities.
Yeah.
So you're right on par for that one.
Yeah.
So the next question is, where were you born and raised at?
Born at Kapiolani Hospital.
All right.
Born and raised Kalihi Valley.
Kalihi Valley, wow. Yeah. And so you currently reside on the west side, right?
No. I stayed the next city over, Salt Lake.
Okay.
Yeah,
but
Salt Lake City.
you were in the.
Well, my wife is from Waianae.
Oh, okay.
My wife from Waianae, so.
All right. See, it's funny is that as much as I know you, I actually don't know too much about that part.
Yeah. That's
I've
how
always
we're
thought
doing
that
this
you were
interview.
from Waianae. Yeah, so that's great. So what elementary did you attend?
Well, there was numerous elementaries. Starting from Kalihi, I went to Kaliuka, Lenapuni, Kalihi Waina. Also attended Punch Bowl Elementary in Kalu Elementary, Waipau Elementary, and then I went to Waipau Intermediate.
Were you that bad or?
No, it was just I was on Traveler.
You was a traveler.
Yeah,
Okay.
my mom and us guys was Travelers. So.
Were you fighting that long ago or? How long did this happen?
That's how I gained all my experience.
Oh, wow. That's pretty awesome. Wow. Okay, so during the elementary years, what kind of sports were you involved in?
Well, we grew up mostly, Kalihi Valley, and then, you know, we moved to KPT, so it was like in like the project areas, you know. I played sports in basketball, baseball for Kuhio Park Terrace. Mm-hmm. Played flag football at the time. Mm-hmm. You know, never played tackle. You know, me and my brother basically was just you know, playing it, going around and just being boys. You know what I mean? Not really playing sports. We just played in sports. You know, just like on team environment.
Yeah.
You know, and then.
So what high school did you end up going to?
Lower campus, Kamehameha.
Okay.
Farrington.
Oh, I was thinking like Damien.
No, that's middle school down.
Yeah, okay.
That's middle campus down. Yeah, so I graduated from Farrington.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's very good.
So I went all the way around the island and came back.
Came right back, right?
Graduated with all my my friends that I grew up with.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Wow. So what sports did you play when you were in high school?
Football, wrestled, track and field, you know. So, I mean, wrestling wasn't something, you know, you played football, you had to play two sports. Mm-hmm. So, when I was playing football at Waipau High School, I transferred when I was sophomore, when I was 10th grade. So, transferred over, moved back to Kalihi, and came over and couldn't play football. So ended up I think it was junior. Sophomore, I kind of stayed out, kind of just in kickback. And then it's my junior year, wrestled and played track. And it was just because my good friend them I was hanging with needed one 155er, and I was a chosen one. So I ended up kind of gravitating to the wrestling. Was just one-on-one on the mat, and was exciting. Yeah.
All right. So how did you end up getting involved in mixed martial arts?
You know what? My brother-in-law, I always tell this story. My brother-in-law went off to Ray Cooper, went off to college for wrestling. He is married to my wife's younger sister, Monica, and came back home. You know, was kind of homesick, and him and Monica was kind of getting serious at the time. So came back home, and you know, he still had that urge to wrestle and stuff. So I guess he wanted somebody for throw around. Well, I guess I was his wrestling dummy. So yeah, we just started doing wrestling, freestyle wrestling. Wrestled for that Aloha State Games. So we basically wrestled against pretty much the has-beens, and then some of the guys was real competitive. Was mostly the guys in military. So we wrestled the military guys, you know, the guys in Navy, Army, Marine. So we'd enter all those tournaments. So that kind of was the first step towards it, you know, as far as mixed martial arts. And I believe at the time there was none. I heard there was some underground competition that used to have back then.
Yeah, but not that, yeah.
Kavika Paului was probably one of the guys who was doing, you know, the underground fighting and doing the Gussie Lamoas back then for T.J. Thompson. So he pretty much was doing those 8-man tournaments with J.L. Palmer and all these guys that people don't know about. But
yeah, no, I remember going to Gussie Lamore's. So back in the old days, they used to have, it was kind of like a nightclub meets fight club where guys come that day, they sign up, you get 8 guys, and they would have a tournament, and they would fight for money, I believe, right?
There was on purse. I don't know how much was. You know, winner take all, and I think some fighters, they had some part of the money, $50 or whatever what it was. But back then, it was just, I think it was just
more about pride.
More about, you know, fighting for where you from.
Yeah,
You know, so
that was pretty interesting. I remember those days. And this is actually, this is pre-UFC, right? This is before UFC 1.
Yeah, because this was like in the early 90s to kind of like, was right around that time. Was pretty close to that time because the UFC was like 91, between 91 and 93. Around that time.
First one, yeah.
So, I mean, this had to have been in the early 90s.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I remember the first time that I saw you was when you were in a jiu-jitsu tournament. You were in a Gracie jiu-jitsu tournament over in Kaiser High School. You remember that?
Yeah. The Gracie Invitational.
Yeah.
Right.
So how did you get involved with jiu-jitsu?
You know what? It's kind of strange because we kind of did everything backwards. In a sense, like the way people do things today, because we ended up competing in MMA first. Back then, they used to call them Vale Tudo or No Holds Barred. And it was back in the day when they was trying to ban the sport, you know. So we figure, you know what, hey, let's start trying to dabble into jiu-jitsu. You know, let's start doing some other forms because people was like, hey, what, you guys gonna enter the grappling tournament or enter this? And like, oh, who's holding that? Oh, Helson Gracie and jiu-jitsu tournament. So I was like, hey, we better start training jiu-jitsu, right? So everybody went out to the KC Martial Arts, go buy them gis.
Yeah.
We don't know the size. We never even try them on. We just went buy gis and we look like clowns. The gis was long, was like one size bigger.
Oh, wow.
And we trained like, luckily 3 times out of the week for a good maybe 2 months. Maybe 3 if we're lucky. And we set aside for competing in a tournament. And we entered them. So everybody entered their weight divisions, weighed in. Everybody went in as white belts. And I won my weight division. I won the absolute. So I was like, yeah. Must be doing something.
Good,
yeah,
right.
Must be pretty good. Yeah.
And that's what I remember about you. Is I remember seeing you come into the tournament, and because I was training with Helson Gracie Jiu-Jitsu at the time,
Right.
and so I remember watching you like walk into the gymnasium, kind of like with fish out of water. Everybody looked and said, "Wow, who is this guy?" You know what I mean? This guy don't belong here, and I seen you take your weight class and the absolute, and I was like, "Whoa, who is this guy?" And so that's my first time of ever seeing you, and after that, I've just always kept an eye out for you, and found out that you were doing more, than just the jiu-jitsu. Then I found out about the MMA, no holds barred, and all of this stuff. So what is the first team that you got involved with when you started training MMA?
Well, me and Ray, just we call him Brada. Brada, we just was doing pretty much, like I said, wrestling. And he fought his first fight, I believe was in '97 in Super Brawl 3.
Mm.
Yeah, because Kavika did Super Brawl 1. So he fought in Super Brawl 3, and I was in '97. And we was training already at the time because Kavika came, cross-trained with us, got ready for his fight, and then TJ went asked Brada if he wanted to fight in a 4-man tournament. So it's like, you got to go check with his pastor and stuff like that, because we started going to church and whatnot. So I guess the pastor gave him his blessing and said, if this is one sport, and it's a heart condition, the way you feel in your heart. If you're going out there and it's a sport, I mean, more power to you, So he went out there, and that was the very first time, and so we came out with the Jesus is Lord shirt. My wife came and put together a shirt and just had them in bold letters, Jesus is Lord. So, we just was going to give God all the praise. Mm-hmm. And TJ would name us as Team Jesus is Lord.
Oh, wow.
So that's how we got it. It wasn't something we said, we're going to name the team. TJ just went, put Team Jesus is Lord, and that's what we fell under. That was our team.
Oh, wow. So
everybody that we had that was training there was, was going to church or, trying to change their life. Because I was trying to change my life. That's the whole reason why I started training. I was like, I got to start doing something different. Going to work every day and then coming home and sucking them and partying. I mean, yeah, that's all cool and all and good fun. But, at one point you just think like, well, is this all it is all about?
Is this it? Life got to have
So
some
yeah,
meaning,
yeah.
right?
So I mean, I seen one too many lights, one too many blue lights. So yeah, I mean, I got
blue
tired.
light special,
Yeah,
huh?
I got tired of that blue light special. So I mean, I had to resort to something else, and
Wow.
I felt like this sport just fell into my lap and was kind of given to us guys.
So can you name like all of the people who were first involved in that Team Jesus is Lord?
There was me, Brada Cooper, Bozo Paling, Kai Kamaka, my brother-in-law, Brennan Babu Ostovich, Yobi Song. That was pretty much the core. Dana Bayani.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that was our core guys. Kavika Palui.
Right.
So I mean, and as we started training, Raquel Palui, them, Rachel, Kanani, Brianna, our kids was all small. Brother boy, them, they was all little kids playing with each other and stuff, at the gym. So it was kind of a family thing. We came to the gym, we trained. After we come off the mat, we were on the side fellowshipping, and the kids go on the mat, and whatever we was doing, they would do them.
Wow.
Kai and Brennan, they would go on the mat and just arm by each other and just roll around. It's like, oh, yeah, just from them watching, the kids already, Brother Boy them already was doing wrestling. Him and Bronson was real small, but Brother Boy was like always trying to take down somebody. So, he had them in his blood already.
Wow.
So, and Robbie was always in a corner. Playing, I don't know if he was playing with his G.I. Joe, He-Man, his toys, whatever, but I just remember all their faces when they was young.
Yeah, so it's funny because, all of the kids that you're mentioning, they all fight in MMA today.
Yeah.
So you guys have that second generation of fighters. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. So, so you guys start competing in MMA, and you guys actually went and competed outside of Hawaii. You guys toured around the world. So where have you guys fought at? Jesus Lord.
Well, as the first after Ray's brothers fight in Super Brawl, and I fought Super Brawl 8. So they took him off the island. You know, it's trying to ban them, trying to ban the sport. And then we fought for it to come back, fell under Pancration, which was the sanctioned body that time. And then Brada got called to fight in Japan because apparently the Japanese guy he beat in the tournament was kind of like on top ranked guy in Shuto. So I flew out with him to Japan, and we fought up there in Japan. And that was, I think his first fight there was against Masanori Suda.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he fought Suda at 189, I believe. He fought on higher weight. So, I mean, he never really need cut weight. So that was kind of eye-opening. The Japanese people up there was like, the fans was real, like I said, it was an eye-opener. The people there was real.
How big was that fan base? Like, what arena did you guys compete in?
We fought in Korakuen Hall. It was in Tokyo Dome, but in the Tokyo Dome, around outside the Tokyo Dome, there's small arenas where they used to have pro wrestling.
Okay. Yeah.
So that place maybe held 2,500 to, I would say at the most, 3,500 people, maybe 4,000 if you're lucky.
Wow.
So kind of small arena, but real quiet like this. You're fighting and you can hear a
Pin drop, right?
pin drop. And you basically hear me yelling in English, and then you just hear the other guys in Japanese.
Wow.
And they're quiet. So they see one takedown, they clap.
Yeah.
They see one arm bar, submission, you going for a submission, clap. You get out, they clap. So they're real knowledgeable of the sport, which that's what I kind of was real surprised about. Like when kind of was intriguing, like, wow, these Japanese people they really know their stuff, you know? So when we went to Japan and basically we went back home and TJ brought Shuto over and did that collaboration with Shuto, the fights that was happening in Super Brawl was being broadcast in Japan.
Oh, wow.
So we never realized that until we kept going back to Japan. And we would go into like Nike Town and I would see like Super Brawl in a Japanese. Ay, Hinaldo, wait, they come, they're like bowing to us, they like autograph. Like, wow, hey, this is crazy. And we were looking at magazines, get us in a magazine. So I was like, oh, we big time over here. So you start feeling like you special. And that's how the Japanese guys make the American fighters feel. Like, yeah, you feel like you worth something in, like, you know, you go back home, you like, that makes you even want to train that much harder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you lost, you come back and next time win.
Yeah.
So that's, to me, it was a good experience.
So besides, you know, fighting in Japan, I mean, for you personally, what is the highest that you've reached? Like, what other promotions have you fought for?
Well, the highest, I went to the UFC.
Okay,
You know, that was always my goal, you know, regardless of how long it took me. But I fought my first fight was IFC. You know, I fought in California. I believe was in, IFC was in Fresno, California. Fought for WEC, WFA, King of the Cage. I was the first local boy world champion from King of the Cage.
Oh, wow.
Fought for their world title. Gladiators Challenge. Well, as you know, Super Brawl, Rumble on the Rocks, UCC. You know, fought in Heat in Japan. Fought in Shuto.
Wow.
Went to Canada, but couldn't get past the border. I was supposed to fight in Canada. So, I mean, luckily I wasn't the only guy. Quinton Rampage Jackson got turned away.
Oh, wow.
Crazy Horse, Charles Bennett got turned away. I mean, there was a lot of fighters that if you didn't clear up whatever you had back home, you wasn't getting through that. Canada is that strict.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, yeah, I fought in Vegas, all over California.
So, who was your opponent when you fought in the UFC?
Chris Lytle.
Chris Lytle, wow.
Yeah, Chris Lytle. I mean, there was a lot of opponent changes because they originally wanted me to fight when I was talking to Joe Silva at middleweight. So my original opponent was Murray, Lee Murray, the guy that comes out. He used to wear like the Halava correctional suit with a mask on his face. And then it changed over. It was Robbie Lawler. So we were scheduled to fight. And then he had a shoulder injury. Then called me back, told me you're going to fight Phil Baroni. So I said, oh, yeah, okay, I fight him. And find out Phil Baroni has shingles. So
Wow.
he's like scrambling for an opponent. Calls me back, tell me, you know what, we like you fight at welterweight. You're going to fight Chris Lido. I was like, thinking in my mind, like, bro, you guys just told me 85. I still like 95, almost 200. You know, I'm going to cut down to 85, right?
Right.
So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll go do him. I was like, oh, bro, I get 2 weeks for cut down to 170 now.
Oh, boy.
So now I'm fighting weight issues. You know what I mean? But I'm thinking, bro, this is the UFC. I don't care what, I got to make the weight.
Wow. So what was the result in that fight?
I made the weight, you know what I mean? But I end up losing. I end up losing a fight.
By
Was his famous 5-finger guillotine. I guess that's what they call him. Is like one turnover. I mean, he was known for that guillotine.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean.
So you never got called back after that, or?
No, it was a 3-fight deal, and it says that in a contract, you can either fight the 3 fights or they can release you at any time. Mm-hmm. And I believe it's like that nowadays too. But nowadays it seems like they give the fighters an opportunity to redeem themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So as I left, they told me, hey, you know, Dana White told me, you know what? Hey, you get off on 3-fight winning streak. We have you come back and, you know, you have you fight one guy and, you know, redeem yourself. So I said, okay. And from that time, I just came home. And when you fight in the UFC and you come home, you actually get called by a lot more other organizations because you fought in UFC. Mm-hmm. So, you know,
you come on the map.
A lot of organizations was, you know, calling me up. Hey, we like you fight. And you said fighting like main events. I was fighting like main events all over on the outer islands.
Wow.
Fighting main events in California.
So the question I didn't ask really, and I need to, is how did you get the name Machine Gun?
You know what? It actually was given to me by, I wouldn't say given to me. It was in Guam. It was, I believe, was in like 1990 or somewhere around there. I fought in Guam. I fought in a 4-man tournament. Mm-hmm. Crazy, you're going crazy. Hear this. In this 4-man tournament, there's me, John Chrysostomo, and a military guy, a guy in the Marines, and another guy from Guam. So me and John Chrysostomo is in that 4-man tournament.
Wow. Right?
So we fight in that. So I win the tournament. I don't know how this thing came about. TJ and put us together. And the guy who was doing the interview was interviewing me after. He said, oh, man, hey, your hands was flying, man. It was like a machine gun. You know, just going, was flying that night. So I was like, oh. So he's like, oh, that's hey, machine gun. That's Ron, Machine Gun John. That's outside. So I was like, yeah, that sounds pretty good. But because before that, I was, TJ was announcing me like almost like Roy Jones Jr. Mm-hmm. So he'll call me Ronald Jhun Jr. So it was almost like on Roy Jones Jr., right?
Yeah.
So that's how he used to announce me before that, prior to that. Then I came back and then I guess I went run with the machine gun. So that's stuck, and I don't know if it was just recently we found out that reporter passed away.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was kind of interesting how I got the name. So, I mean.
That's amazing. Wow. So,
yeah.
I mean, since then, you've gone on to do a lot of great things. You know, so you fought all over the map in different areas and, you know, came back home. So, you know, I guess my final question for you would be, what do you want to do in the future, or where do you see yourself in the sport? Because now, are you still fighting professionally?
Well, my last fight was like, almost 3 years, two and a half years. I fought in the Philippines. So, I mean, we're going to see. I mean, I always told my wife still didn't tell me, yeah, you should retire. So I can see them in her face. I can do them. But, you know, if the Lord, so that's something He provides for me and gives me the strength to do it. You know, I always get that fighter mentality, yeah. But if I don't do something this year, as like a going away, last hurrah in Hawaii, yeah, I could walk away and be happy with the legacy I left behind.
Oh, that sounds great.
So,
well, you know, I want to thank you so much, for coming out and being a part of the show. And if you guys want to find out any more about Ron the Machine Gun Jhun. You're on Facebook, right?
Facebook at Ron Kim Jhun, me
All
and my
right.
wife's name.
Yeah, so be sure to check him out if you want to find out any more information, or you can also check him out on our Facebook as well at Real Talk TV. So thank you very much, Ron, for coming out, and we look forward to seeing what happens in the future with you. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.